Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, and you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. What do you mean you don't like me anyway? So yesterday was Disney Plus Day, and though most of the lineup was pretty meh, the last 15 minutes knocked it out of the park in terms of dropping brand new show announcements. Thrown in with these, we also got some clips that gave us our first look at Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, and also She-Hulk. Throughout it, we saw small snippets of Jennifer Walters' life, and also her in what I presume is a Gamma Lab along with Smart Hulk. Now if you pay close attention to the clip, you'll notice that Hulk's arm is fixed. If you cast your mind back to the end of Avengers Endgame, you'll remember that Bruce actually damaged it really badly when performing the snap, and this left his arm in a sling. We then saw the character pop up again in the post-credit scene of Shang-Chi, and he still had his arm in a sling, but Bruce was back to his regular-sized man form instead of being the Jolly Green Giant. So what exactly is going on? Well, in this video we're going to be breaking it all down, but if you do like it when we're angry, then please hit the thumbs up button and also subscribe for videos like this every day. We're also giving away some box sets to people that are part of the family, so make sure you stick around until the end to find out how you can get your hands on them. Now there's been a lot of buzz over the brand new clips, and there's two things that could be happening with Hulk's arm. The first is that this is taking place post-blip, and it's happening after Hulk has brought everyone back. His arm was damaged, and potentially Hulk found a way to heal himself by using the containment unit that we see in the trailer. This could definitely be possible, and though his arm was pretty badly withered and burned up during the closing scenes of Endgame, if we look at Shang-Chi, there may be a clue towards this. Bruce's arm is in a sling, and it's completely missing all the scarring that we saw Hulk carrying at the end of Endgame, so potentially he healed himself when he turned back to normal. This would mean that if he turns back into the Hulk, that his arm could be completely repaired, as having it in a sling would have done that over time. Add to that the fact that Hulk also has a healing factor, and you can kinda see how everything falls into place, and how he ends up looking like a 3-year-old kid who's just run in to tell his parents that he wet the bed. However, I actually think that the fact that his arm is back to normal indicates that this show actually happens before the blip, and potentially it's through this that we will see what happened in the 5 years between that and the snap. So far, Marvel haven't really dived into this territory at all, and it's a pretty substantial time in the timeline where we don't really know what went on. Sure, Hayward said that things were messy and everyone was desperate, but on the whole we've got no actual idea about what really happened then. Now I just kinda wanna lay out the events as I think they happened, but in order to do that, we're gonna have to talk about Jennifer Walters' origin story. Now in the comics, Jennifer Walters is the cousin of Bruce Banner, and she was also the daughter of a Los Angeles County Sheriff named William Morris Walters. When Bruce visited her to tell her about how he was the Hulk, she was shot and put in critical condition. Jennifer was desperate for a blood transfusion, and Bruce ended up providing some of his own due to them sharing the same blood type. The mobsters then arrived at the hospital to kill her once and for all, and this triggered a transformation into She-Hulk. Now looking at the trailer, there's clearly some point in which something along these lines has happened, as Bruce is helping her to deal with her transformations. In the comics, She-Hulk is way smarter than your typical version of the Hulk, and she's pretty much retained every aspect of her personality. So I'm thinking that this was done whilst Bruce was still Smart Hulk, and thus this DNA meant she didn't flip out and turn into a giant green rage monster. Now if we look at the timeline of the events that could have happened, I'm guessing that after the opening of Endgame that Bruce sunk into an incredible sulk because he said he lost twice. The character lost as both the Hulk and as Bruce, and thus he went into a Gamma Lab and decided to mold the two sides of his personality in order to get the best of both worlds. You might remember that there were two deleted scenes that were cut from both Infinity War and also Avengers Endgame that both showed this transformation in their own way. In Infinity War, Hulk was going to bust out the Hulkbuster when facing off against Skull Obsidian, and we would then get a scene in which Smart Hulk moved through the woods and then Nat realised what had happened with him. In Endgame we caught him running through some stuff on his computer, and this was clearly following on from him just nailing the transformation. Now I believe that the lab we see in the trailer will be the Gamma Lab that Bruce was talking about, and he'll be using this to help Jennifer deal with She-Hulk. They seem to be running tests on what causes her to flip out and transform, so this makes a lot of sense. Now judging by what we know, if we put the timeline together for the Hulk, I think we get the ending of Infinity War in which Bruce says that he and Hulk need to work things out. We then get him spending months in a lab so that he can perfect both sides of his personality, and during this time he ends up saving his cousin Jennifer. Jennifer then transforms, and they then move to the lab in order to carry out tests on what's going on with her. Endgame then happens, Bruce badly damages his arm, and we then cut to the end of Shang-Chi where he's transformed himself into a regular person. The fact that She-Hulk has somewhat of a similar costume fabric-wise to what Smart Hulk had in Endgame also makes me think that he'll help her to develop that too, and the pair will work together for quite a lot of it. Now, I don't think that all of She-Hulk will take place between the snap and the blip, but there is a lot of potential here for us to have prequel elements that set things up, so when we return to the present, we can see what's happening with the characters in the world. There's also a big question mark over the Abomination, who also appeared in Shang-Chi. In the scene with him and Wong, we saw them going head to head in a tournament, and Wong later paid lip service to all the practicing that they'd been doing. He led Abomination into a portal, and we could see somewhat of a containment unit like what Jennifer was standing in during the trailer. So potentially Bruce either helped to build this, or it might be on board something like the Raft. I think that the arm is clearly hinting to us that elements of this show will take place in those 5 years, which will be really interesting. I think the series will see the Hulk and Abomination fight at some point, and this could make Bruce realize that he has to kind of go back to his older form in order to be able to tackle threats like this. Recently, it was announced that we are getting World War Hulk down the line, and the storyline doesn't really seem like it's something that would fit Smart Hulk. I think for that you just need a giant angry rage monster, which I'm really hoping we get. Now, moving beyond that, we also catch Jennifer in the trailer in her lawyer clothes, and it is rumoured that Matt Murdock will be appearing in the show too. This is coupled with rumours that Kingpin will be showing up in Hawkeye, and Feige is apparently trying to integrate the characters from the Marvel shows into the next phase after they got the rights back to them from Netflix. I also love how there's a bit that's clearly riffing on the 70s series in which Jennifer says, "Don't make me angry." This is a direct nod to the Bill Bixby era, and Mark Ruffalo is even wearing clothes exactly like Bill had on. I grew up watching reruns of that series, and it was such a good show, especially as back then we didn't have a million comic book movies. Now, I don't know what's going on here, but there is potential that this is an advertisement for her lawyer business. Bruce is also back to normal form, showing that this moment likely takes place after Endgame, or potentially it's before he transformed himself into Smart Hulk. Now, this could also be Jennifer breaking the fourth wall, and in her comics she's actually able to do this. She-Hulk knew she was a comic book character even before Deadpool discovered it, and the narration that we hear over the top of the trailer could be hinting to us that they're going to be doing a lot of meta things in the series. Either way, I'm really excited for it, and I want to apologise for not doing a massive breakdown on all the announcements that came out yesterday. If I'm being honest, I've had a lot of anxiety over getting the time to cover yesterday, and also the No Way Home trailer, which is meant to be dropping next week. I got the Shang-Chi breakdown out yesterday morning, and then dropped the Obi-Wan later on in the day, and then I started to do a big breakdown on all the trailers that were shown, but I was just so burned out at that point that I needed to step back and recharge. I often find that if I do trailer breakdowns late as well, that they don't really do that many views, so I try to put a bit of a spin on this one so I wasn't just pointing out Easter eggs that you'd seen 1,000 times in other videos. As they say, the only thing better than 2 heavy spoilers videos is no heavy spoilers videos, so yeah, just didn't want to push myself to the limits. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on the trailer, so make sure you comment below and let me know. As a thank you, we're running a competition right now and giving away 3 copies of the Zack Snyder DC Trilogy on the 30th of November. All you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the teaser. We pick the comments at random at the end of the month, and the winners of the last one are on screen right now, so if that's you, then message me on Twitter at Heavy Spoilers. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our breakdown of Shang-Chi, which will be linked on screen right now. We pointed out all the Easter eggs, hidden details, and just did a big breakdown on the movie so that you didn't miss anything, because I know what you're like, mate, you're always missing stuff. If not, then I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend. I've been Paul, you've been the best, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, peace.